Up next, new details in Jerry Sandusky's request for a new trial.
And stay tuned for a look into a night to remember for community members in State College. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Cheyenne Oswald.
And I'm Logan Westrop. Thanks for joining us.
After a taste of spring weather over the past week, winter is ready to make a return with a cold blast this weekend. Our weather anchor, Patrick Wright, is here with an update on the changes that are coming our way.
Oh, and what a taste it was. I hope you enjoyed the 50s earlier this week, but for now the sunshine is coming out with some colder temperatures. Currently, as you walk outside, it is 39 degrees with winds coming out of the west at 23 miles an hour, and those winds are going to cool us off as we head throughout the rest of the day and into the weekend. For the future weather, well, 24 degrees by tonight at 8 p.m., so the winds will continue to cool us off as we head throughout the day and overnight tonight, because then by tonight around 11 o'clock tomorrow, 17 degrees. So it is something to keep in mind and dress for the weather tomorrow, because we'll be jumping right back down to normal for central Pennsylvania. So in terms of our overall back to reality styles, we do expect it to dry out for the next couple of days with a mild pattern setting in, and then we return to our normal winter. So back to reality for the weekend.
Thanks, Patrick. Now the lawyer for Jerry Sandusky says he'll ask the state Supreme Court to consider another court ruling from this week. A Pennsylvania appeals court denied Sandusky's request for a new trial, but he will get a new resentencing hearing. Sandusky is currently serving 30 to 60 years in prison for his child conviction case on child molestation charges. This week, a court said he does not deserve a new trial, but his sentence included the improper application of mandatory minimums. So Sandusky will be sentenced again, although his lawyer says he's not sure if it'll lead to much of a different punishment.
A 20-year-old woman faces criminal charges in a fatal crash that happened in State College. Police have wrapped up their investigation onto the crash that occurred on Route 322 last September. They say Nyla Oliver's speed caused her to lose control of her car, cross the median, and crash into another car. Robert Bloom died in the crash. Oliver is charged with a homicide by vehicle. She's out on bail and has a preliminary hearing later this month.
Pennsylvania's Governor Tom Wolf released his $34 billion proposed state budget this week, promising no new taxes, but he's asking for millions of dollars from public schools. Our reporter Tyler Olson is outside Easterly Parkway Elementary School in State College with more on this story. Tyler, what's going on out there?
Thanks, guys. The governor emphasized education and workforce improvements, including an increased minimum wage that would start at $12 and eventually increase to $15. Wolf wants to increase public school funding by $200 million, including a pay floor of $45,000 for public school teachers like those in Easterly Parkway Elementary behind me. He wants money to help counties pay for new voting machines, and he wants more money for state police. Wolf also proposed a variety of job training and adult education programs he said would help close growing holes in the state's workforce.
Across the Commonwealth, we have workers aging out of our workforce, and too often the next generation of workers is simply not there or doesn't have the skills to replace them. If we can't strengthen our workforce, we're going to fall behind.
Republicans in the state legislature said they could work with the governor's proposal, but said they would still fight for fiscal responsibility. The sides will have to come to a compromise by the June 30th deadline, which they've missed as recently as 2017. Live in State College, I'm Tyler Olson for the Center County Report.
Thanks, Tyler. Center County is getting $2 million to grant to continue with bridge replacement projects. PennDOT called the Railroad Street Bridge in Bellefonte and the Mill Street Bridge in Howard structurally deficient. Their replacements are estimated to cost nearly $3 million. Construction costs outside of the grant will come from the county's liquid fuels and vehicle registration funds. The project should begin next year.
Another big project is set for State College Area High School, and officials gave the updates this week on a $10 million budget renovation project for Memorial Field. Our reporter, Lila Cook, has the story.
While Memorial Field will soon get a major makeover, the upgrades could end up affecting families from around the district. This week, school and district officials updated the public on the project's progress. The presentation included pictures of what the finished stadium should look like.
Everything behind me will be torn down, and there will be new bleachers and a new concourse with additional restrooms as well as locker rooms located under the bleachers.
Officials say the current field is also not ADA compliant. The board will choose from 2 renovation plans. One would be completed by August of 2020, but would not allow use of the field during the fall 2019 season. The other plan allows use all season, but would take until May of 2021 to finish. Some parents in attendance raised concerns about the loss of field time.
I certainly think that the home stands need renovations. I don't think anybody is arguing about that, but I do think that parents, especially of kids who are going to be seniors, are anxious about what that means for their kids for the upcoming sports year.
The project is estimated to cost around $13 million, according to Randy Brown, the Finance and Operations Officer for the school district.
As part of our financing plan over the next 50 years, we'll be borrowing resources and paying for those out of that capital financing plan.
In State College, I'm Lila Cook for the Center County Report.
The first football game at Memorial Field was played in 1937.
Firefighters rushed to a call in downtown State College yesterday and blocked off streets as they checked out what was happening. Someone reported smoke coming from a building on the corner of College Avenue and Allen Street. A malfunctioning boiler apparently caused the problem at the Moyer Jewelers building. The incident caused both Allen Street and College Avenue to be closed until Alpha Fire Company deemed the area safe. Thankfully, nobody was hurt.
It's been almost 5 months since a low-flying state police helicopter caused controversy at a Penn State football tailgate. Fans complained the chopper flew too low and sent tents and other items flying. Police say they were trying to disperse an out-of-control tailgate. The FAA launched an investigation, and the Center Daily Times reports that it's now finished. But the paper says the FAA is not releasing the findings and will require a Freedom of Information Act request. In the meantime, reporters say that 4 Penn State students face alcohol charges that are related to the tailgate.
Penn State is launching a new solar project aimed at helping the environment. The university and LightSource BP announced plans to develop a large solar array on 500 acres in Franklin County near Chambersburg. The 70-megawatt project will provide 25% of Penn State's statewide electric requirements over 25 years. The solar project is expected to be finished by mid-2020.
It's going to be a big weekend for Penn State sports, and we'll have a rundown of all the action coming up later.
Plus, the State College mayor says he's running for another position. Also coming up, we're 1 week away from an annual tradition that raises millions of dollars for a good cause. More on that after the break. State College Mayor Don Hahn has announced he'll run for Magistral District Judge when longtime Carmine Prestia retires in 2020. Hahn is 1 year into his term as mayor. He's also an attorney.
I've had a strong commitment to pro bono, so I'm hoping to see encourage a lot of pro bono representation of low-income people in small claims courts.
Hahn also encouraged landlord-tenant mediation and increase the use of language translators. If he's elected, he'd need to step down as mayor.
1 week from today, it'll be time for Penn State's Thon, and students across the university's campuses are putting the final touches on their plan for the 2019 event. The student-led fundraising effort culminates in the 46-hour dance marathon beginning next Friday at the Bryce Jordan Center. Dancers come from Penn State's organizations, clubs, and campuses. And since 1977, Thon has raised more than $157 million to support pediatric cancer patients, families, and research.
Well, after a weekend warm-up, 36 is our normal high for today, at least, a low of 21 for a normal low. So we will be changing those temperatures, getting back to those temperatures this weekend, as I mentioned earlier. But currently, as you step outside, 37 here in State College. They have gone down even since the beginning of the show. But then 37 down in Altoona and 32 over in Johnstown. Now for the rest of the state, 22 up in Erie, and that's going to be the cold spot in the state. But then over as you head further east, well, it's 47 in Philadelphia and 48 over in Harrisburg, and those temperatures have also been falling as we've headed throughout the day. So for satellite and radar right now, the skies are relatively clear here in central Pennsylvania, just a few clouds further towards our west, and then the front that moved through last night further towards our east. So we are right in the middle of the clouds and the sunshine, or at least we have some sunshine heading into our area, and will continue for at least the next couple of hours and into the weekend. So overall today, into this evening, the sun and, well, the moon will be shining as we head throughout the evening, as if you have any plans tonight. But then by tomorrow, we still have the clouds going on, and then a few clouds moving on out, but overall a pleasant weekend for at least winter here in central Pennsylvania. So then by tomorrow afternoon, we do expect the sun to remain for most of the evening and into Sunday morning, and then we do see a pattern change later on. But first, for our numbers for today, we have a high of 43, but that temperature will be decreasing as we head throughout the day. And then we have a low of 15 degrees, so this is right a little below normal for this time of year, so we're right back into winter in the middle of February. Then for the 7-day forecast, well, Sunday, 34 degrees for a high. A few PM clouds, though, because that'll move into our next system. And then we have a low of 28 degrees, so again, right where we're supposed to be for at least Sunday into Monday. And then an overall, not calm, but at least a gentle pattern for the weekend into the beginning of next week. And especially if you have any plans for Tuesday, we are watching a system moving in, so that is something we're going to have to pay attention to. And then as we head into Valentine's Day, if you have any plans for a loved one, 38 degrees will be the high, down to 26 degrees overnight as we head into the day Thursday. And then we have drying out, at least for the beginning part of thaw at the end of next week.
Well, that's great. It was such a tease that we had this week. We had warmer temperatures. The groundhog said we're going to have an early spring. It was so nice. I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And now we're going to have colder temperatures back in the region, right?
And it was a peak. It was a good peak at spring, but then, yeah, we jump right back to reality for central Pennsylvania because it is February.
That's true. Looks like I'm bringing back my winter coat once again, unfortunately. Hey, thanks, Patrick. Penn State has some new bragging rights when it comes to its sports fans. The Nittany Lions led the nation with 4 fall terms in top 10 average home attendance. Football was second in the country with an average of more than 105,000 fans per game at Beaver Stadium. But women's volleyball, women's soccer, and field hockey also had top 10 attendance figures. That's the most teams nationally in top attendance. The next closest is 2 teams. Now here's Tommy Butler with more sports.
Penn State's men's basketball once again hung tough against a Big Ten opponent last night. We have highlights from that game in Columbus, and the wrestling teams in Ohio trying to maintain its perfect record. Also coming up, we take a look at National Signing Day and how it impacts the Nittany Lions football team. That's up next in sports after this break. I'm Tommy Butler with sports. The 18th ranked Penn State men's hockey team is back in Pagula Ice Arena this weekend for a Big Ten matchup with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Nittany Lions are back from their week off and haven't been at home since being swept by Ohio State in January 18th and 19th. Penn State has won 7 of its last 9 meetings with Minnesota, most recently splitting its series in Minneapolis back at the beginning of January. On the season, the Nittany Lions have struggled in the Big Ten, skating to a 6-9-1 record. Good for a tie for 5th in the conference with Wisconsin and Michigan State. Penn State head coach Guy Gadowski knows that in such a strong conference, consistency is the key to success.
I mean, this is the Big Ten, and you look at what the programs have done and are doing and where they're going, it's not going to get any easier. Okay, I can tell you that. I think that it's our job, our staff's job.
This weekend series starts tonight at 6 p.m. You can listen to it on Penn State's Com Radio. Coming off their first Big Ten win of the season against Northwestern, the Nittany Lions basketball team ended their 2-game road trip in Columbus last night. Penn State kept it close, ultimately falling to the Buckeyes 74-70. Junior forward Lamar Stevens had a career-high 12 rebounds and 20 points for his 9th career double-double. Senior guard Josh Reeves also knocked down 20 points in the effort. Ohio State's Kyle Young scored a go-ahead basket with just over a minute left that allowed the Buckeyes to hold on. Penn State returns to the BJC Tuesday to take on the Michigan Wolverines. Tip-off is set for 8:30 p.m. Tonight, the undefeated Penn State wrestling team travels to Columbus to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are 9-1 on the season. The Nittany Lions are coming off an exciting win last weekend against Michigan in a sold-out Bryce Jordan Center. Last time the Nittany Lions met the Buckeyes, Penn State came back from a 10-point deficit to clinch a 1-point victory. You can catch this edition of the rivalry tonight at 8:30 p.m. Recruiting in college football is now a year-round process for coaching staffs, especially with 2 signing days each year. This week, Penn State wrapped up its 2019 recruiting with another top 15 class nationally. Cheyenne Oswald has that story.
The highly anticipated National Signing Day for college football came to an end on Wednesday afternoon as Penn State welcomed 23 signees to the Nittany Lion family.
Interesting. But I think overall, very pleased with the class. Very pleased with the class and what we've been able to do.
Franklin and his coaching staff secured 18 prospects during the early signing period back in December and signed the additional athletes Wednesday afternoon. The newest addition to the Nittany Lions include Joseph Darkwa, 6'5" defensive tackle from Essen, Germany, and TJ Jones from Columbia, Florida filled the wide receiver position. As Penn State prepares for the 2019 season, they have to adapt to the new changes in college football, including the new transfer rules. Student athletes are now able to enter their name in the transfer portal and try and switch schools without current school permission. Coach Franklin feels that the NCAA transfer portal is changing the layout of college football drastically. He also feels that instead of using the portal, we need to bring together groups of people, from the athletes to coaching staff to the athletic directors, to talk about these issues.
From this, and I just worry that the direction this is going, that at some point the model's going to break, and I'm concerned about that. So, I want what's best for the players. I want what's best for colleges and universities. I want what's best for our game.
On Wednesday, the Nittany Lions also welcomed their new wide receiver coach, Jared Parker.
I kind of wanted to learn them as men before I learn them as players. I think if you develop a bias the other way, sometimes in my past and what I've done, it doesn't go as well. So if I'm going to challenge them to keep an open heart to me and learn how we're going to do things, I want to do the same to them.
Reporting in University Park, I'm Cheyenne Oswald.
Penn State's 2019 recruiting class is ranked 13th in the country by ESPN. While future Penn State football players prepare to start their college careers, those looking to move on to the pro level are taking the next step. 7 Nittany Lions will participate in the 2019 NFL Combine from February 26th through March 4th. Offensive lineman Ryan Bates and Connor McGovern, defensive lineman Kevin Givens and Sharif Miller, cornerback Amani Oruwariye, running back Miles Sanders, and quarterback Trace McSorley will be making the trip to Indianapolis. Penn State has sent 15 players to the Combine over the last 2 years. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Tommy. Coming up next, we hear about one person's experience at an unforgettable prom night for friends with special needs in our area. A look ahead at tonight's big event is next. 5th annual Night to Shine prom for those with special needs is tonight at the Calvary Harvest Fields Church in Boalsburg. The event gives people 14 and older experience to look forward to all year. Reporter Maddie Beer-Temple has more on this unique event.
Caleb Brownson loves Elvis, karaoke, and his best friend Jackson.
He is my best friend in the whole wide world. He loves Justin Timberlake, cheeseburgers. He even likes me.
Tonight he'll have all his favorite things in one place.
Every time when I go there, I see my friends, I see my other friends from school all the time. They go to this dance because they love to dance, they love to hang out with me.
Brownson and his mom Sarah have been preparing for him to attend Night to Shine, a prom honoring those with special needs. The event happens all over the world and is funded by the Tim Tebow Foundation. Sarah says the event has profoundly impacted Caleb and his friends.
Really got to shine and be the star. You know, they crown the kings and queens. And so, you know, he got to be kind of king of the dance along with his buddies.
That's
right?
true.
And so I think he really enjoyed kind of standing in the spotlight for one night.
Those attending are looking forward to a prom night filled with friends singing and dancing to their favorite songs. While the event crowns their kings and queens, there's just one king Caleb cares about, the king of rock and roll. In State College, I'm Maddie Beer-Temple for the Center County Report.
Tonight's event in Boalsburg will be one of about 500 special needs proms taking place around the world. What a great event. You know, Cheyenne, it's so great to see events like this happening across our community. It's to see those smiles on their faces.
They look so happy, and I can't believe it's prom season already. It feels like our prom was just yesterday, and it's already been 4 years.
I know, it's crazy, especially how fast time goes, and I really do think that they're going to have a great time and look forward to it.
I think it's going to be great. And that's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter feed. That's at Center County REP or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Join us for our next newscast next Friday. Have a great weekend.